today I am going to talk about how African women are reclaiming land and wealth. If you remember, we recently spoke about Wangari Maathai, who helped women increase their wealth and confidence by creating the Green Belt movement that is helping to restore the environment and deforestation. And just she put together owning land and keeping the environment safe and building that resilient wealth and having social capital. If you didn't hear that story, please go back and listen to that story. It was amazing to me. And I'm just learning about her and continuing to read about the things that she has and did accomplish. So today we're talking about inheritance and property rights and how African women are reclaiming land and wealth. Imagine this. You've worked hard, raised children, tended farms, built businesses, but when your husband dies or your father, you're told you have no right to the land under your feet or the house that you've been living in. This has been the reality for millions of women across Africa and many other parts of the world. But today, women are reclaiming those rights. And with land comes power. With land comes wealth. And with land comes legacy. Welcome back to the Wealth Be Hers podcast, where we tell women's stories from across the globe and uncover lessons that can transform how we build, protect, and pass down wealth. For centuries, property and inheritance laws in many countries were written with only men in mind. Women often couldn't own land in their own names, or if they could, cultural norms meant their families pressured them out of it. Land wasn't just about a place to live. It was collateral for loans, a way to feed families, and a foundation for wealth. In places like Kenya, Nigeria, Uganda, and beyond, widows could be stripped of their homes by their late husbands' families. Daughters were bypassed in inheritance because the property was passed to sons. Without land, women had little to fall back on. But here's where the story shifts. Women have been fighting back and winning. Take Uganda, for example. Women's organizations pushed for reforms that gave widows legal rights to remain on their land. In Kenya, in 2010, the Constitution enshrined equal property rights for women. And in 2021, the courts reinforced that daughters and sons must inherit equally, regardless of custom. You guys, that was 2021, a few years ago. There are also grassroots stories. In Ghana, women's cooperatives are pooling resources to buy farmland together, bypassing inheritance battles altogether. In Tanzania, NGOs are teaching women how to register their land titles so when disputes arise, they have proof of ownership. One of my favorites and one of my favorite countries that I've visited, Kigali, Rwanda. After the genocide, which was in the 1994, 1995, women made up 70% of the surviving population. The government rewrote inheritance laws, ensuring women could inherit land equally. That single legal change helped women start businesses, send children to school, and rebuild communities. I'm telling you guys, if you've not been to Kigali, Rwanda, you should go and go to the Genocide Museum. You'll cry the whole time. Let me put it this way. I cried the whole time. And it's just the most remarkable thing to see how the country, the city, is thriving and what happened before. How can these two things be going together? Anyway, these are not just legal victories. They're economic revolutions because when women own land, they can leverage it. They can secure financing. They can plan long-term, and studies show they invest more of that wealth back into their families and communities. So what does this mean for us? Here's the takeaway. Ownership matters. Whether it's land, real estate, intellectual property, or a business, what you hold matters for your wealth and for your legacy. Too often, women everywhere, even in the United States, don't prioritize estate planning or titling assets correctly. That's how wealth gets lost. So, review how your assets are titled. This isn't about going around your husband, partner's back. It's about knowing how things are titled. Anything can happen to anyone at any time. We have to be aware of what's going on financially in our lives. It affects you. Make sure you have a will or trust that reflects your intentions. Talk openly with your family about inheritance. And most importantly, don't shy away from claiming ownership. These African women remind us our names belong on the deeds, on the titles, on the business registrations. Ownership is freedom. Now, I don't know if you heard me say not too long ago, one of my mentors has said, own nothing and control everything. In the United States, this is particularly important because of the way legal things are. So it's about asset protection. If that means a little bit to you, or you're like, what the heck is she talking about? Go to moneywithmission.com, hit book a call, and let's talk about it. I want all of us to have our assets protected and to have assets. Across Africa, women are rewriting the rules of inheritance. They are reclaiming not just land, but dignity, security, and power. And as wealth be hers, we can do the same in our own lives by making ownership a priority and protecting what we've worked so hard to build. Listen, if you found this episode inspiring, if this moves you, share it with a friend. And by all means, if you're like, what the heck does she mean? Own nothing and control everything. Go to moneywithmission.com, book a call with me. I'm not going to sell you anything. I want to hear your story. I love meeting new people. Let's just talk. Wealth isn't just about money. It's about freedom. It's about legacy. And it's about the power to choose your own path.